Hey guys, awesome to have you back here today. I tell you what, I can feel your pain. There's a lot of you out there that are struggling with that little cast motion from the top. You're flipping through contact, so your club shaft is almost leaning backwards or almost already splitting your forearms as you're coming into contact. And it does a couple of things. You burn up all this speed back here, and your club's actually slowing down as you're coming into contact. So you're bigger, stronger, faster than some of your playing partners. You know that you can hit it farther than them, but those little scrawny guys keep out driving you, and it drives you absolutely nuts. So I'm going to teach you some great drills. We're going to get to the root causes of what's going on the flip so we can get rid of that. And also, to add insult to injury, not only does it slow down your swing speed, but it actually makes you less accurate. So as that club starts to flip forward, that face becomes very unstable. You get those balls that float up in the air. You get the thin shots, you get the slice, you get the hook, you get the tops, you get all kinds of different stuff. And the root cause of all this is that flip. So it's really frustrating. It really makes you lose some sleep at night, but I got the answer for you in this video. This is a work along video. So grab your driver. If you're in your living room right now, if you're at home, you're not at the driving range, grab a club anyways, pick it up, get started on this drill now, and then we'll finish it and we'll hit the shots when we go to the range. But let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's go ahead and hit one. I got my flight scope radar out here. This is gonna track exactly what's going on. And what you'll notice is as I flip this club, I'm gonna lose a little bit of club head speed. So what I mean by the flip is what should be happening as you hit the driver. That club shaft should be leaning forward. Even if you don't have much forward shaft lean because you're behind the golf ball, that club is not releasing, meaning that the club head isn't, or the club shaft isn't splitting my arms until after contact. So the first point that that club shaft splits my forearms, or is between both my forearms, that's where I call the release point. I measured almost 50 major champions from the year 2000 on. I looked at all their slow motion video, and what I found is just shy of 40 degrees in front, meaning that their club is releasing 40 degrees in front is the first time that it splits their forearms. I like to say anywhere between that 40 to 45 degree window out in front, that's the perfect place to be in, especially with a driver. Even if you're using an iron, this goes all the way down middle irons, hybrids, fairway woods, pitching wedge, those are all going to be splitting the forearms first or releasing first out in front. So when I do this incorrectly, I'm going to try to get this club to split my forearms right at impact, and we'll see a few things happen here. Let's try it out. There we go. So for me, being fairly high swing speed, what's going to happen there is as I release that club too soon, that ball is going to start to shoot up in the air. It's going to get too much spin. I'm going to lose swing speed, and it's basically just going to be a terrible drive for me. So normally, I just did a video right before this where I swung 124 miles an hour. I'm down to 105 right now. So I'm costing myself dang near 20 miles an hour of club head speed. That's over 40 yards of potential distance by flipping that club. That ball carried 222 and it rolled out to 233. That's not very good. Now this same thing, even if you're swinging 80 miles an hour, the same thing holds true. You maybe have the potential to swing 100 even though you're 80. If you're 90, maybe you have the potential to swing 110. If you're doing this flipping motion, it's costing a lot of distance. We'll also notice my spin, 5,000 RPMs. I want that to be down less than half of that, almost 2,000 RPMs. And my dynamic loft, or the loft that was on the club at impact, is 22.6 degrees. This is an 8-degree driver at the sweet spot. I added loft and I got it all the way up to 22 degrees at impact. So that's causing a lot of backspin and loss of distance. Man, that's killing it. I mean, 40 yards would be a minimum that I'm losing there. I'm actually losing more than that. That only went 233. So now let's really get into the nuts and bolts of what is it that's happening when we do this flip. What is really going on here? There's actually three things that are happening. Piece number one is going to be your forward and backwards bending motions of your wrist. So this would be called, with my right hand, if I flip it forwards like this, that's what's called flexion of my right wrist. My right wrist back would be extension. My left wrist, the same thing. That would be flexion, that would be extension. So when you flip your hands, what most people think is I'm trying to hit it this way. I'm going to accelerate this club by flipping my hands forward and pushing that club head forward. What that does is that kicks the shaft forward. All of a sudden I added loft like I talked about. I burn up all my speed prior to contact, so now my club head's actually slowing down or not speeding up as fast as it should through contact. and I'm losing tons of distance. So what should be happening? Well, this is where we get into the straight line release. That club head will be releasing in front, but we're not starting to release that until very, very late in the swing. I want that club to be releasing here. Now look at both of my wrists. See how they're both flat? And I've released this wrist angle. That would be a neutral wrist angle. I'm not flipping and I'm not extending back this way. So pause for me as you're about thigh high with your hands, or your hands are in front of your right thigh. I want that right wrist angled back, full extension. And then as you come forward to the straight line release, go ahead and let your hips and your body open up and release that until that's now perfectly flat. Do about 5 to 10 reps of that. Pause here, feel that wrist back, do a little back swing, then pause in the straight line release, feel that wrist be nice and neutral. After you've done 5 to 10 reps, recreate that same feeling, actually making a full practice swing. So I'm here, I'm getting that same feeling in my body. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and hit one just to demonstrate what's gonna happen to the loft and the distance as I do this. So I'm gonna take a normal swing, will be my normal club head speed. All right, so that one just a little left, down the left center. Let's see what my club head speed went to. The last one was 105, 233 carry, or 233 total. This one didn't get the club head speed, 306 total distance. So I picked up over 70 yards by doing it, releasing it the correct way. Now let's get to the next piece here. That's one of the motions that happens when you're flipping your wrist. Another motion would be the ulnar and radial deviation. That's if I took my thumb on my left hand and I pulled it back up like I'm giving a thumbs up to somebody. I pulled this back as far as I could. That's radial deviation, or thumb up. This is ulnar deviation, or thumb down. We talk about this a lot in the lag and release section. Thumb up to thumb down. Well, as you make your swing, you're gonna have your thumb pulled back up as your full max lag position. So that's when your left arm is about parallel with the ground. Again, as I go to the straight line release from the Top Speed Golf system, I'm fully releasing that, where now I'm thumb down as I go to my straight line release. So here's what I want you to do. Again, 5 or 10 reps, practice swing. I want the butt of this club to be pointing just outside this golf ball. So if my butt of my club is in here, I'm coming down too steep. I'd be doing this motion, chopping straight down in the ground. I want that butt end of the club as I'm at the max lag to be pointing outside that golf ball, and I want to keep it behind that golf ball as long as I can. So if I had a laser beam shooting out of this, I don't want it to pass in front of that golf ball until the last second of the swing. Once I get that laser to pass the golf ball, so once it gets to where now it's in front of the golf ball, I want to turn that back around and get this butt end of the club pointing toward me and being in my straight line release as fast as I can. So I want to have that butt end of the club going back, and then I want to release it absolutely as fast as I can. What I see players doing a lot of times, they try to hold that there and then they never release it. And they just hold off and the face is wide open and they slice them a mile to the right and they get frustrated and they say, man, I can't get any lag. I can't get that club to snap. I've got to get that thing to release. So in the Top Speed Golf system, we talk about this being max lag and then straight line release, 5 to 10 reps. Keep it back as long as you can and then let that thing fly. Really snap it through there. Let's go ahead and hit one more shot here to see how this, again, is going to help me to get some good club head speed. There we go, right down the middle on that one. That may be as long or maybe even longer than the one before that. That got up there pretty good. Let's see what my club head speed was. So again, 105 when I started, that was 117, 319 total distance on that one. So he really hit that one good. Now the last piece I want to go over is the part that kind of helps these things to happen. A lot of times what I see players do is you'll slow down your body a little bit too early. So what'll happen is you'll start the downswing, we'll stop our body, start slowing it down too early, and then again try to throw the hands and arms at the ball. When you do that, what happens is if I slow my body down, my belt buckle is facing this golf ball, my chest is facing the golf ball, and I kind of stand up and flip. See a lot of players do that. Lose your posture. Whenever my body slows down, my arms have to speed up. So if you can imagine a fan blade, as I start to rotate this fan around, if I was to stop my body, all of a sudden that blade, this club flips around. As long as I keep rotating my body open, it's going to keep that angle. It's called conservation of angular momentum. That's a very basic concept that's going to allow the golf swing to get maximum speed. So I got to keep that body opening until I get to my straight line release. What I want you to do, let's go back to that maximum lag position again. Now from here, I want my body to open up. I want my belt buckle to be facing my straight line release. I want my shirt buttons to be facing my straight line release. And I want my club and my hands to be facing my straight line release. So that's why we call it the straight line release. Belt buckle, shoulders, arms, wrists, club, all are in a straight line out in front of your golf ball to the release point. 5 or 10 more reps, focusing on letting that body open up to the straight line release in front and let that happen. Let me go ahead and hit one more shot here. I'll work on really getting that hips to open, and we'll see if we can get one out there just as far, or maybe even farther than the last few. There we go, right down the middle again. Hit those well. Maybe not quite as far as the one before, but I definitely got a nice amount of lag. I definitely released that club in front instead of flipping at it and get a lot more distance. So that one was 119.3 club head speed, 310 total distance. Definitely happy with those. So the recap on this, number one, I don't want to push the club forward to get it to release. I'm going to keep that back and I'm going to release out in front. Number two, the club does go up and down to help release the club, but again, maximum lag, and then I release that, or that goes down out in front. And number three, if I don't keep my body opening up, I'm not going to be able to have these things happen. My body slows down, everything's going to flip no matter what I'm trying to do with my hands and arms. Put those three together, do the practice swings, take them to the driving range, hit some shots until you get comfortable with them. I guarantee you're gonna get some more distance. All right guys, now wait right there. I got a great bonus for you. We got started in this video talking about how the wrists work and how we release in front, but we wanna build on that. I got a great bonus video, which is one of my best straight line release videos from the Top Speed Golf system. It's normally only available to premium members of the website, but I'm gonna give you this video. All you need to do is click on the iCard somewhere in the screen or the description or the link down below in the description. You'll get instant access to that. You'll start to work on your straight line release so you can pair that up with what we talked about today, ingrain that so you never have to worry about it again. Let's go ahead and get started. A common misconception I see is that we want to create lag and we just want to hold that lag all the way on through contact and get as much lag as we can coming through contact, and that's simply not true. In the release section, we're going to talk about how to turn that lag into energy, how to turn that into speed so that you can hit it very far and do it, like we mentioned, without hardly any effort at all. And as we're coming through contact, we're going to fully release this angle as we're about 45 past contact. So if I draw, a 45-degree angle, I should be looking at both arms, nice and straight, the club splitting those arms, so that by releasing the club, by getting this angle to release as we're coming through contact, that's what's going to create the speed. Our hands are moving a very short distance, our club is moving a very long distance through contact, and it creates that whip-like effect. Very different swings hitting the exact same position. So first let's take a look at Dustin Johnson, releasing the club 45 past. And the reason we're going to see such different swings producing similar positions is that this is the real physics of how this has to happen. Here we're looking at Sergio Garcia. Again, we're going to see tons of